Outputs and outcomes. Oh! Who invented two words that look so similar but yet have two very different meanings? It's okay, relax. In just 3 minutes, you will have a thorough understanding of outputs versus outcomes. But first, the fundamentals. My name is William Sparks. I live in Bangkok, Thailand. I work for Winrock International. I do development work throughout Asia and Africa. And specifically, I do a lot of facilitation with local organizations. I make sure to explain all the jargon and technical terms that are in international development. I was just in Laos and I was asked to explain the difference between output and outcome without using any jargon. Here's the explanation I gave that they found very useful. There are 3 parts. First, you have the activity. This is what you are doing, or what your project is doing. This is the intervention itself. For example, training is a common activity in international development. You could be training farmers on better agricultural practices. You could be training government officials on how to write better policies. The training is your activity. Next comes the output. An output is what you can count immediately after your activity. In our training examples, you would count the number of people trained. You control the activity, you control the output. If you had unlimited money, you could train unlimited people. You control the output based on how much input you put into your activity. You control the output. So, if you trained a gazillion people and had a gazillion outputs, then your activity was a success, right? It depends. What did the people you trained do with the information after they left your training? If I trained 100 farmers on better agricultural practices, I would count how many of those farmers actually applied those practices after they left my training. If I trained 100 government officials on how to write better policies, how many of them wrote a better policy after they left my training? This is the outcome. I can count the number of farmers or policymakers who enacted their new skill or ability. After I train the people, I have no control once they leave my workshop. I hope that they apply these new skills or practices. Therefore, the outcomes are hope. I control the outputs, and those lead to outcomes that I hope will happen. Those are the 3 parts. You do your activity, you control the activity, therefore you control the outputs, and then you hope for positive outcomes based on the activities you conducted. So one question. If I train a local organization who then goes and trains farmers, what's my output and what's my outcome? My output is one organization trained. My outcome is the number of farmers that that organization trains. You may have noticed that the people trained was an output in the first example, but an outcome in the second example. What's going on? Remember, the output is what I control. In the first example, I was training the farmers directly, therefore the output was the people trained. In the second example, I am training a local organization who is then training farmers. So all I control is the organization I train, and I hope for the outcome that they will train additional farmers. That's it. I hope that helps. If you have a clever way to explain outputs and outcomes, I'd love to hear about it. Please share your approach in the comments below or contact me directly. Thank you for listening.